literally am just starting this book. We are starting at the introduction. Do better. And I need something to get me motivated to read. So I'm going to do this. We're going to read for a half hour, at least. Alexa set a timer for 30 minutes. Starting now. All right. Introduction. My love includes anger. What I hope to do all the time is to be so completely myself that my audiences and even people who meet me are confronted with what I am inside and out, as honest as I can be, and this way they have to see things about themselves. Nina Simone. Okay. We are living in an entirely uncertain time. Our politics are increasingly divided with no reassuring route for recourse. And as I write this, the world is in a standstill to combat the worst global pandemic since 1918. Cities are on fire in all 50 states, and folks of all races have taken to the streets around the globe in an uprising led by Black folks in the quest for Black and thus collective liberation. The systems of inequity that have persisted and have been protected for centuries are being exacerbated. And in the stillness forced by global quarantine has meant that many are no longer able to turn away. White people have finally awakened to white supremacy and anti-Blackness in a way that they refused to before. The things many of you were privileged enough to once take for granted are slipping from your fingers, and the shit is scary. That's very true. Oh, well, good. Come on over here, Renee. I'm setting a goal to read a half hour every day. So this is me reading my half hour. And I just started. So I'm in the introduction. So have a little reading time with me, and then we can talk. And if you want to come up, you can come up. Just request. Our personal and collective grief is palpable. Things are and will continue to be chaotic, and increasingly so. Yeah. When was this? This was written, she wrote this in the middle of the pandemic, 2021. Ooh, yeah. So I think it definitely has been increasingly so since 2021. Okay. But amidst all the chaos and uncertainty is an opportunity. The oppressive systems and institutions as we once knew them are slowly beginning to crumble. Everything is being burned to the ground so that as a collective we can rise renewed. We are being summoned to the inner spiritual work that revolution requires. I feel that. Some are calling it the end of everything that never worked right in the first place, and it is. I like that. It is the end of everything that never worked right. Though these systems were created to work exactly as designed because of their benefit of their creators. Those with the most power and privilege. To overthrow them, we must all take a long look in the mirror to deal with the hard shit. And this is what this book is all about, the hard shit. White supremacy, heteropatriarchy, grief, oppression, and more. This is also a book about my interactions with the hard shit. I write what I know best, which is my experience, both personal and professional, in equal measure. My name is Rachel Ricketts. Hey. I love that she wrote out. She did literally type, hey. So I have to read it. And my pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm Black, queer, cisgendered, non-disabled, neurotypical, Canadian-born woman with ancestors of West African, Jamaican, Indian, Jewish, Portuguese, Western European, and Taino descent. I might be saying that wrong. I grew up Black and financially insecure in mostly white and wealthy spaces, and have spent a lifetime navigating intersecting systems of oppression. Though I am a trained racial justice educator, attorney, grief coach, and spiritual activist by profession, this work is personal because the most grief I have ever endured and will continue to is that at the hands of white supremacy. This grief has rooted within me an overflowing reservoir of love and gratitude, as well as an unwavering fire of righteous rage deep inside my bones and belly. Love and anger, with damn good reason. White supremacy murdered my mother. It was after my mother's death that I rededicated my life to the work of fighting racial injustice in her honor and mine. Though I was born with my third eye open, my deep connection to spirit intensified after helping my mother die, equipping me with the tools to help heal my heart and hold space for others to do the same. It led me to create my spiritual activism workshops, potent and racial justice seminars that fuse spiritual-based soul care with embodied anti-racism education so that we can learn to tolerate the challenging emotions that arise when we address opposition. This book is an extension of my workshops, blending my lifetime of personal experience navigating white supremacy with my soulful anti-racist teachings to create an accessible and relatable guide for all who are ready to fight for a more equitable world in which everyone, most notably Black and Indigenous women, can find freedom. I agree. White supremacy harms us all. White supremacy is the status quo. It causes one of the greatest forms of systemic social trauma on the planet, inciting grief, guilt, loss, pain, anger, and shame. For everyone, racism mires BIPOC and in emotional and physical violence, and in order to perpetuate the oppression of the others deemed less than, it robs white folks of the inner peace and meaningful connection to themselves and to others. Okay, I'll read that again. Racism mires BIPOC in emotional and physical violence, and in order to perpetuate the oppression of others deemed less than, it robs white folks of inner peace and meaningful connection to themselves and others. Wow. For my fellow folks of global majority, including the mixed race folks, and especially my fellow Black and Indigenous women, addressing our internalized oppression is where we get most stuck. We have endured centuries of institutionalized discrimination, of shittier housing, education, pay, job opportunities, healthcare, access to justice, and so on. Not to mention slavery, dehumanization, intergenerational trauma, emotional violence, and constant reminders that we are less than because we don't belong to whiteness. Hi, fam on fire. We keep quiet and code switch in order to keep white people comfortable in the expense of our own well-being. Our anti-racist work is unplugging from whiteness and reclaiming our power. For my white or white passing friends, internalized dominance and privilege results in the disconnection between head and heart. Yep. White supremacy requires you to cut yourself off from meaningful connection with yourself and others. The most pertinent thing you can all do to dismantle racist systems is first address your own personal racism. Not just the racism out there, the ways you inherently perpetuate white supremacy, and the grief, loss, pain, and trauma that are creating obstacles for you to authentically do so. No small feat, because as we'll learn, when you start to become truthfully aware of who you are and the harms you've caused, your world turns upside down. Yep. For mixed BIPOC with white ancestry, you will likely find that your work is to address both your internalized oppression as well as your internalized dominance. Very relatable, right? No matter what your race, ethnicity, or mixture, racial justice begins with a sobering soak in your own reflection and all that lies beneath. To awaken to ways in which white supremacy is playing out in your day-to-day, the ways you contribute to its prevalence, and the hurt it is causing all. Here's the tea. Racial justice starts with you, and it starts within. That's empowering. That's good. I needed to hear that. There can be no genuine outer shift unless we get right with ourselves first. And it never ends, absolutely. And racial justice requires a major collective upheaval. It necessitates an overhaul of every system we have ever known the world over. That is why I need you to tap into your heart space, connect to your righteous rage, and use it as fuel for systemic and collective change. I wrote this for every human ready, able, and willing to do the hard, vital, and urgent inner work required to dismantle white supremacy. So let me be clear. This ain't no cakewalk. Real talk. Learning about white supremacy and doing anti-racist work is work. This is not for those wishing to merely dip their toe. Oh no. Unpacking racism, oppression, and their impact is often triggering on a mental, spiritual, emotional, and at times physical level. I have felt that. I have felt my heart pounding at times when I am in the throes of it. And it feels like I'm running a marathon. So yes. Many elements of my story and teachings may flare up painful memories or traumas of your own. I cried a lot of tears writing this, and you are likely to shed tears reading it. Diving in takes courage, bravery, and resilience. You must acclimate your body to better withstand your discomfort and shower yourself in compassion so that you'll have hope in hell of bestowing that same compassion on others, particularly Black and Indigenous women. When we come together to face oppression, we unearth potent personal and collective trauma. When we come together to face oppression, we unearth potent personal and collective trauma. Moving through this book will be no different. It will expose your hurt, but my wish is that it will also inspire your hope. I'm here to help you through, and I do so from a space of deep love for us all. Still, make no mistake, this is not a fluffy, love will change the world manifesto. Love can change the world, but it's not a send light and prayers kind of love. The love needed to create radical racial justice includes daily, intentional, and informed action on a global scale. It includes owning up to the emotional violence we have perpetrated on ourselves and others, both as individuals and as part of the collective, and most notably towards Black and Indigenous women. It is a love embodied by truth and integrity. It runs the full spectrum of human emotions, including anger. Righteous rage has been a vital component in efforts to do better, past and present. The collective shift of racial justice demands The collective shift of racial justice demands requires this same fervor. I believe love and righteous anger are the precursors to the critical shift we desperately need to manifest in the world today. To doing better. Some call me the general of loving anger. You'll soon find out why. I share my stories not to condemn the mistakes of others, but to illuminate the ways we cause each other harm, often to those most oppressed. Harms that I too have inflicted as a perfectly imperfect person and oppressed oppressor. In these pages, you will find carefully curated exercises to get into your body, enable you to better withstand the discomfort that inevitably arises as you partake in racial justice. I believe getting more comfortable with our discomfort first is the gateway to our collective salvation to racial and social justice. It starts with compassionately connecting to yourself and filling up your soul so you can truly do the work to commit to collective change. A car can't drive on empty, am I right? Every chapter ends with a spiritual offering to tend to your soul, and or a tangible call to action to support you in tending to your heart and better holding space for yourself and the collective, all while prioritizing the most marginalized. From guided meditations to breath work to reflection to visual exercises, you'll be armed with the spiritual tools I've used time and time again to support folks face their fears, confront challenges, and heal racial wounds. All of which is done in a culturally informed way, honoring the roots of the practices and the communities of color that cultivated them. Mindfulness and breath work will serve as the pillars for returning to ourselves, navigating our discomfort, and actively doing better.
Want some from Chick-fil-A?
I would like some French fries.
French fries?
Yes, please.
That Coke or just French fries?
Just French fries. Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Part 1 takes you on a deep dive within to understand and address oppression at the inner level. In Part 2, I share more of my story enduring white supremacy and guidance for taking a much-needed outer action. My goal is for you to finish the last page feeling enlightened, empowered, and ready to act. We need you, especially the white folks, because y'all are late. Yes, we are, and we are fumbling around. We don't know where our shoes are, even. Okay. Written to, not for. Though this book is meant to inspire healing and change for all humans, this book is directed primarily to, though not for, white women. I did not want to write a book to white women, truly, but white women have caused me the most racial harm, so I feel compelled to address my first book to them directly. Especially cis women. Well, see, I got this because, well, it's apparently written right for me. This book is for everybody. I write for Black and Indigenous women first and foremost. Every facet of my work is for us and our healing. This book is written to white women, but it is for us. Our well-being, our humanity, and our liberation. Hi, Medusa. We are at a pivotal crossroads as a collective, one that has not been experienced since the civil rights movement of the 1960s. This is a global uprising. How we choose to harness the energy of the day or not will have lasting consequences on folks of all identity worldwide for centuries, perhaps lifetimes to come, especially in America. Though I am Canadian by birth, most of my immediate family lives in the United States. My grandfather was an indentured laborer in the States, and the impact of violence he endured on American soil reverberates through my family's very being and mine. I write about American issues as a foreigner, but a foreigner with blood, skin, and sinew at stake. Around the world, whiteness and white supremacy in all forms cause BIPOC harm every single day. Every hour, every minute, every second, people are being hurt because of systems created by and for whiteness and the tangible, violent consequences of white supremacist ideology. And it is my duty, as assigned by Spirit, to help create a world in which BIPOC people are it is my duty, as assigned by Spirit, to help create a world in which people of the global majority, sorry guys, that threw me. This sentence is throwing me. Let me try that again. And it is my duty, as assigned by Spirit, to help create a world where BIPOC, being people of the global majority, and specifically Black and Indigenous women, are no longer subjugated to the racist, misogynist harms that I and so many others continue to endure. This is why I write, and the purpose of this book. Not to implore white people to recognize my or any other BIPOC humanity, but because I refuse and would die in vain waiting. Thank you. but rather to illustrate the impact of their choices on us all. To examine why white and white-passing people have chosen to perpetuate white supremacy and ignore its impact, and thus their impact on BIPOC people in the first place. Uncovering such choices is a critical part of how the hell we get free. How the hell we all get free. This is a good time to point out to the white folks reading that you are not going to like a lot of what I have to say. Not one bit. Your ego and white privilege will seethe. You'll be inclined to label me angry, classic, and wonder who the fuck I think I am to speak to you this way. I am my ancestors' living legacy, for the record. You may feel I am ruthless for spelling this out so publicly and unabashedly. It's all status quo, so if you feel you need to stay there, by all means, do you. But for those of y'all who truly give a shit, I hope this will give you pause and help you become empowered to show up for myself and other Black and Indigenous women in an authentic, active, and sustainable way. By virtue of being oppressed themselves, white women have a deeper capacity to understand and empathize with the oppression faced by BIPOC people. Still, despite having the capacity, white women, especially white cis women, have failed to use it. Yep. Yep. As oppressed people who oppress people, no one has caused me more harm in my life than white women. The fragility, victimhood mixed with pervasive bypassing defense mechanisms and emotional violence makes for a special sauce of racist venom. And yes, women perpetuate the patriarchy too. This book is in no way lets men off the hook. They have a major role to play in all of this without question. But right now, I need to talk to the folks who are most ready to listen. And then I need them to do their damn work and collect their people. I am here to share with white women the truth about themselves that is causing everybody. I am here to share with white women a truth about themselves that is causing everybody, but no one more than queer and trans, Black and Indigenous women, femmes, intense pain. Because white women don't know what they don't know, or stay refusing to learn. BIPOC people and the plethora of races, ethnicities, and experiences contained within and between us have our work cut out for us as well. We must overcome centuries of systemic oppression, anti-Blackness, and colonization, myself included. My objective for BIPOC individuals is to understand our specific roles in racial justice. I want us all to finally feel free, particularly Black and Indigenous women. There is nowhere in the world where I, as a Black woman, can truly feel safe. And so until then, I must write. And I must write my absolute truth. There is nowhere in the world where I, as a Black woman, can truly feel safe. So until then, I must write, and I must write my absolute truth. I'm here for it, friend. All right, let's do this. An invitation to brave space. I believe we are all limitless souls and having a human experience, and that we all came to Earth at this exact time to learn, unlearn, and ultimately heal ourselves and each other. I believe in the possibility for us to drop the old white supremacist scripts that have been holding us back and disconnecting us from ourselves and one another. And it is because of this belief that we can and must do better that I fight with so much fury. That I invoke spiritual activism and loving anger as my means of seeking and affecting change. That I tell it like it is, take no shit, and maintain wise compassion. It is how and why I channel my righteous rage into action and simultaneously recognize that all our struggles and humanity, especially those who have been the most oppressed, in this quest for racial justice, we all have work to do in different ways and to varying degrees. Hi, Lizzie. We all have shadows that we need to illuminate and absolute truths that we need to contend with. No one more than white folks. So, to the white folks joining me, welcome. I'm glad you're here now, but let's make no mistake, you are centuries late. Yep, we are. For my fellow BIPOC, especially Black and Indigenous women, I acknowledge you, I affirm you, and I honor you, always and always. Oh, I like always and always. That's cute. No matter who you are, my teachings will make you uncomfortable. Yeah, right? We spend so much of our lives evading challenging and conflicting emotions. Controversial topics like racial injustice, controversial topics like racial injustice are ripe grounds for checking out. But I urge you to resist that temptation. If you want to create a world where all humans can be free, then I need you to increase your tolerance for the hard shit, hard emotions, hard conversations, hard decisions. No matter how mindful I help you become, this book is not going to solve white supremacy. I wish. It won't heal internalized oppression or make you an activist or an ally, though it will absolutely aid you in acting in allyship. It is simply a start. Even if you're decades in, I am arming you with heart-centered tools to put into your ever-expanding toolkit for doing this work day in, day out for the rest of your life. You will be stretched well past your comfort zone, but you will be left feeling more supported and empowered in your journey to better show up for yourself and the collective in the ongoing war against white supremacy, and most important, intangibly supporting BIPOC people worldwide. In doing so, you are helping to free the hearts, bodies, and minds of us all. I'm not here to tell you anything, but rather help guide you back to truth you've always known. Is heart-centered an acronym? Not yet. Not that I see. We'll see what she got. This again, we're still just in the introduction, so I bet we'll have lots and lots. Well, I don't know. If this was a white person book, we'd have lots and lots of acronyms. That's for sure. We love our acronyms. We'll see what happens. I'm not here to tell you anything, but rather to help guide you back to the truth you've always known. Back to yourself. Everything you need to do better already exists within you. What you read here will serve as guidance based primarily in my personal and professional experiences. Oh no. Okay, come on back, fam. Still, much like you, I'm a learner, still learning life's lessons. This is not work to get perfect. I have not and cannot do it perfectly, nor can you. Okay. I was struggling with perfectionism, so yeah. Still, much like you, I'm a learner, still learning life's lessons. This is not work to get perfect. I have not and cannot do it perfectly, nor can you. Oh, still? Can everybody else hear me okay? Do I need to switch my ear things? Let me try that. Let me go to the big guns. Power on. Okay. I'm still going to switch. They're more comfortable anyways. Plus, look how cool I look. Like... Okay. Where were we? Perfection is an agent of oppression. So let us release ourselves from that expectation. There are undoubtedly elements of this book I'll later learn cause harm. I welcome learning more, so I too can do better in the future, and I invite you to do the same. You will still fuck up, as will I. You will continue to cause harm, but you will have tools empowering you to engage critically, to see beyond the lens of whiteness, and to minimize and rectify white supremacist violence from here on out, to continuously do and be better, not perfect. Half hour! Don't worry, we're finishing the introduction. Alexa, stop. But goal was reached. We'll finish the introduction. You may be scared. You likely have apprehensions, but racial justice requires each and every one of us. Lives and livelihoods are on the line, and Earth as we know it is at stake. No matter where you are in your racial justice journey, you will find something here, a learning or unlearning, a sliver of hope and cementing of truth. I have poured my heart out onto the page for you to live and breathe these experiences alongside me, so you can witness me, and in doing so, better witness yourself. This is my personal invitation, to a brave space. In the words of Justice Doula Mickey Scott Bay Jones, we all carry scars, and we all have caused wounds. So there is no such thing as a safe space. We all carry scars, and we all have caused... I got goosebumps from that. Okay, hang up. We all carry scars, and we all have caused wounds, so there's no such thing as a safe space. But here, as we move through this work together, I invite you to be brave and vulnerable, to lean into compassion, to stretch past your discomfort, and to prioritize all those rarely prioritized elsewhere. By guiding you through an internal exploration of your role in perpetuating white supremacy, anti-indigeneity, anti-indigeneity, I did not say that right, I'm bad, and anti-blackness, and providing heart-centered tools to support you in moving through the grief that inherently arises as you do so. This book supports BIPOC people in healing from internalized oppression and racial trauma, white women in addressing their racism, and all women in rising up to free themselves and the collective from global systems of oppression. This is a book to read and reread, to take at your own pace and digest as you need. It is loving... Oh, thank you. I want to put extra letters in there. Hang on. Indigeneity. Thank you, Renee. Anti-indigeneity. It's like Janaea's in there, but I'm not anti-Janaea. We love Janaea. Okay. This is a book to read and reread, to take at your own pace and digest as you need. It is a loving yet challenging call to action. Food's here, babe. A call to do the deep inner work that precipitates any external or collective shift. An active opportunity for you to acknowledge and accept yourself and your role in perpetuating white supremacy for what it is. An awakening that is urgently needed to unify a divided world and to ensure the future of humanity as a whole. I write this from a deep and profound well of love for us all. My love includes anger, and this loving anger fuels my resolve for all of us to all be... My love includes anger, and this loving anger fuels my resolve for all of us. I'm putting the all in the wrong place. That's the problem. And this loving anger fuels my resolve for us all to both be and do better. Okay, and then there's a note from me to you, and then we'll be done for tonight, because we'll be part 1. Okay, a note from me to you. Any discussion of white supremacy is loaded and rife for misunderstanding, which is a hashtag not awesome. So before we dive in, I hope to make a few clear points of unpacking my approach and perspective. 1, there is a glossary of term at the back of the book that I highly suggest acquainting yourself with now. Oh no! I'm glad it didn't drop everything.
Dogs.
Watch out, dogs. They almost got a bag full of fries. I don't know why they put it in one bag. They could have put that into 2. Okay. Highly suggest acquainting yourself with now. Language is constantly and quickly evolving, so you may find some words or acronyms a bit overwhelming at first. That's okay. From here out, I've put an asterisk next to each word from the glossary the first time it appears in the text to help you get better acquainted. Either way, when you come across something you don't understand, chances are it's in the glossary. But please do research them further on your own as well. The intention is always to foster your own critical engagement as you read, learn, and unlearn. What's the new song? If I don't know the meaning of a word, I look it up. Yes. I use the term spirit throughout the book, which is interchangeable with higher power, universe, source, sacred, and divine, though there are many other names. What I am referring to is the existence of and connection to something bigger than ourselves, to which we all belong. There are folks who call it God or Allah, some indigenous tribes who call it the Great Mystery, others who prefer not to name it all. I encourage you to insert whatever word best aligns with you. For the sake of clarity, 3, for the sake of clarity in space, I often use the umbrella term for Black, Indigenous, and people of color, BIPOC, to refer to the diverse group of humans oppressed by white supremacy. As a result of it being racialized and non-white, including multiracial folks. BIPOC do not experience racism identically or uniformly, particularly Black and Indigenous folks, which is why they are separately identified from people of color, POC. I still believe that BIPOC can have sufficiently common experiences such that we resonate with the overarching oppression caused by white supremacy, so long as we also acknowledge that the key differences between our racialized experiences. I have referred to specific racial identities where it made sense to do so. Number 4, I use African American vernacular English throughout the book because, well, I'm Black. And I honor and acknowledge the Black American, predominantly queer and transgender communities that created it. My use of AAV is not licensed for any non-Black person to do so, and I implore you to not to, as explained in the glossary and in chapter 10. I will do my very best to not do that. So if I start to slip, guys, call me out, okay? Number 5, I've done my best to use inclusive language as I understand it at the time of publication, though all words are subject to questioning in terms of their inclusivity and who finds them inclusive. For the sake of brevity, I have used women, she uses a plus sign at the end, to connotate all women, whether cis or trans, as well as femmes, femme-passing folks, and those of any gender identity who face misogyny, like women, with an understanding that these identities are in no way binary. So anytime I say women, I'm talking about all of that. Trans, cis, femmes, femme-presenting, anybody who faces misogyny. Yes.
Yours in there then.
They are, thank you, love, are in no way binary. Peep the glossary for a full definition and the corresponding definition for men. So men is the opposite, I'm supposing. I've used specific gender identities when referring to some, but not all. Lastly, when I refer to man, woman, male, female, I do so with the understanding that both sex and gender identity are social constructs. We'll get into this soon. Number 6, I cannot and will not speak for all Black people because we are not a monolith, nor will I hold myself to that standard, and neither should you. Number 7, white supremacy is complex, entailing multiple forms of oppression. It is first and foremost a form of racial oppression, including anti-blackness, anti-indigeneity. Did I get it? But it also includes heteropatriarchy, homophobia, transphobia, classism, ableism, ageism, fatphobia, xenophobia, and anti-Semitism, and all forms of oppression. Yay! As such, I believe racial justice includes ending all forms of oppression. BIPOC individuals include all ages, all abilities, all ethnicities, classes, sizes, religions, cultures, and so on. So we cannot advocate for the freedom of some without advocating for the freedom of all. Instead of naming each of these forms of oppression separately, they are included within my references to white supremacy, though for clarity, I have made explicit references in some cases. Number 8, I believe Black and Indigenous liberation is the key to collective freedom. My intention is to call out harms against all BIPOC individuals of all identities, but I will focus on the most oppressed. Prioritizing Black, Indigenous, queer, trans, disabled, fat, poor, dark-skinned, non-English speaking, immigrant, elder, etc., women, i.e. those living at the most oppressed intersectionality identities, is how we can best help create freedom for us all. We are certainly having separate experiences, but we are not actually separate. Ooh, I like that. We are certainly having separate experiences, but we are not actually separate. Yeah, right?
Yeah, okay.
Intersectionality just creates division. Did you not just hear what I said, Greg? Wow, Greg, you're what? Literally. Yeah, we all have an enemy. It's the same enemy. It's white supremacy. Thanks for being an example. I love that. I really appreciate that. It really makes it come to life. No. Did your cold heart tell you that? Let's dive in. All right, we'll stop there for tonight. Next, we'll pick up for part 1, going in for the win. Love and justice are not two. Without inner change, there can be no outer change. Without collective change, no change matters. Reverend Angel Godoyo, Williams Sensei. I'm excited. That was a good introduction. Thank you, friends. So, I've had a hard time. Oh no, blue hair. I know, it's so scary for people to talk with blue hair. Does it make you afraid? It makes you super afraid. I have a $1 bill. So that's what's going to be my bookmark for right now. Because that's what you do. I freaking love my blue hair too. I think Greg is jealous. So, I have lots and lots of books to read. Why am I doing this? Because I have a hard time reading books. So, if I make a goal to read 30 minutes a day, and I come on here and read for 30 minutes a day, then maybe I'll actually get some reading done, right? We did it! We did it! We did it! Hooray! It'll be when I'm done with work. So, probably pretty similar around the same time, but yeah. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change my background if I can. And now we can talk if we want to. We can talk all about the things. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Come on up, Renee. Tell me what you think. Thank you, first of all, for helping me to pronounce indigeneity. You did it. I had to literally think of Janae's name.
Yeah, just put in Janae's name. That will totally work. That's easier. That's so great.
Uh-oh. I can't hear you. that because my volume is down? That was my fault.
No, that's okay. Maybe yep, okay. Also, I don't think I have very many bars. We're struggling here.
No, literally, my volume was at 0.
Oh,
It was completely mine.
oh, okay. So I was just in a live where it was somebody talking about all of the problems with, the Trump administration and everything like that. But she was saying, well, I come in from a middle point of view, like a middle perspective. Oh, hold on a second. My volume is down. Yeah, the sound is being goofy. Wait, can anybody hear me in the comments or no? I wonder if it's me.
Mine's been cutting in and out all day.
I can't hear you guys. Okay.
I can kind of hear you.
It's me.
It's TikTok. It's not you.
Okay.
Now I'm back. Now I can hear you. What the hell?
Yeah, but now you sound far away.
TikTok is crazy. Switch back to the ears.
We didn't pay our tariffs on TikTok today, so that's why.
Something, right?
How's this?
Oh wait,
Nope.
okay, you're super quiet. Maybe it's me. If I go away, let's see what happens if I go away. Will you drop me?
No, I can hear you. I just can't hear.
Well, what has happened?
What is happening? Exactly.
Let me mute and see.
Can you hear me if everybody's muted?
Okay.
Nope, it's TikTok.
Yeah, when we muted, we didn't hear you any better.
Okay, well then maybe we just have to go.
Big ears.
Maybe we have to go speakers.
Maybe drop us both so you can have. Well, I don't know.
Is this one any better?
No,
No.
it happened when I came up, so I'm gonna drop out and I'm gonna see if I come back if it's better.
Oh,
I don't hear you. Can you hear me fine?
eating.
Okay, now I heard the giggles.
That's good. How about that now? Well, there
Yeah,
are
but
only 4 of us in here, so if I need to restart, I can restart.
No, I think I can hear you better now. Is this just me?
when you get closer, I can hear you.
Yeah, I feel like it's like when you get closer to the phone.
Why are you being like this, TikTok?
Yeah, you sound fine when you're close.
Okay,
You have to eat your phone.
Jesus.
I have to put my face up like this. You can see all my wrinkles, even with the filters on.
That's great. No
Hi,
filter.
everybody. Here's my job face.
We're getting the nostril shots. Yay, us!
That's funny.
I'm gonna try restarting.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you back.
Okay.